Good morning and welcome to the program, the F.R.S.C. half hour. Well, on the program this morning, we'll be having a guest that like I actually promoted, like I told you, while we were having the morning drive. We'll have our guest as promised, but then I'm not going to introduce him yet. We'll be starting off with a press release. Like I said earlier on, we have a new man in town at the helm of affairs of the F.R.S.C. Edo State Sector Command. But let us look at this press release. In a bid to rejig operational activities and sustain the core effective service delivery to humanity, the Corps Marshal of Federal Road Safety Corps National Headquarters has appointed a new sector commander for Edo State Sector Command. The newly appointed sector commander, Corps Commander Cyril Zango Matthew, hails from Kaduna and holds a Bachelor of Arts in History from the prestigious University of Jos. He has attended several professional courses, trainings and workshops to boost his career progression. He has served in different capacities in the Corps and has also held several strategic positions in the Corps. Until his recent posting, he was the head of plants, HOP and VIS plants, Lagos. We always keep to our promise as a game changer, and we actually told you that we will be having the new sector corps commander, Edo State Command, in the studio. He is actually here. I am very, very happy to introduce to you Corps Commander Matthew Zango Cyril. You are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to start off with your experience coming from Lagos. With your experience, are there any particular challenges that you think with the few days that you spent in Benin that you'll be facing?
Yeah, really, I actually came into Benin, well, I took over about a week ago, and I have moved around Benin, and unfortunately what I left here 20 years ago is not what I'm seeing. I'm talking of the attitudes of the motoring public. Is nothing to write home about, but having served as an operational officer in different states all over the country, I want to bring to bear those experiences and ensure that we have sanity on the roads, especially in Benin and other towns in Edo State in particular.
Now, talking about sanity on the roads, I used to know that in some states there's what you call a psychiatric evaluation. Do you have the intention of carrying out this practice in Edo State?
Yes. Reason being that at times there are some offenses, there are some violations you don't expect a normal human being to commit. For example, we were driving down to this place from my office, and a whole lot of drivers now decided, because there's a little hitch somewhere around Ramat Park, and decided to start facing oncoming vehicles. I have to come down from my vehicle and start moving them back, reversing them back, making them to make a detour back to where they are coming from. I want to believe a normal human being couldn't have done this. So these kind of drivers, once we get them, we will subject them to psychiatric evaluation to be able to ascertain whether that driver license they are actually holding is they really deserves to have it.
And so, talking about the special challenges, any special challenges in question, at least, that's in coming to Benin that you are envisaging?
Well, the special challenges we might have, I have already communicated to my headquarters, one of which has to do with operational vehicles, and I have been promised they will send more to us to beef up operational activities or to rejig our operational activities in the state. Then the other ones have to do with, flash flooding, I call it, because throughout last week it was raining and some parts of the states were flooded. But all these things are natural things, but you who is driving or who is using the road, once you are very, you are very careful in terms of usage of the road, you only take little time but you get to where you are going to. And also, I've seen some little potholes here and there, which we are putting everything, we are codifying everything to send it to the state government so that they will be able to use, through the Ministry of Works, try and do some palliatives on these places.
Now we have seen a situation where I know that the F.R.S.C seriously frowns on this, but it still persists. The practice of having to sell alcohol in motor parks.
Well, that's a general public. It's a nationwide problem, and road safety at the federal headquarters, I do know some years back, brought it to to the National Assembly so that there will be laws that could be passed to prohibit the sales of all these things. But the control of parks has to do with local governments. They are the ones in charge of parks. So my intention, or what I intend to do here, is to continue to collaborate with the local government councils and also the NUR and organize transporter workers, so that will be like the NURTW, like Ratian, so that will be able to checkmate the excesses of those consuming it. Once we don't have those consuming it, those selling it will not have that this thing of bringing it even down to the parks to sell. So that's where we want to start, what we want to do, in order to ensure that those kind of drinks are not brought to the parks for drivers to take before engaging in driving.
And so we have seen a situation of still all alcohol. We have seen a situation where people drive under the influence of alcohol. What are the possible penalties? That is number one. And then secondly, what are the things that you intend to put in place as regards punishment for offenders?
So what we're doing presently, like every morning before our patrol teams statewide go on patrol, they must go to the parks. They usually go with what we call breathalyzers, okay, to ensure that they test most of the drivers that would be traveling out, and any of them we're able to see or to get, we now report them to the official, so that that person will not be allowed to travel that day or to travel immediately until that person is sober. But then those that were unable to reach and we encounter them on the road, it's not just even writing ticket for them to go and pay penalties. We ensure that they don't proceed on that journey. We at times impound such vehicles for like 2-3 hours until we discover that the driver is sober before we can now allow him to go, after retesting him using the breathalyzers.
Okay, let us now deviate a little from alcohol. The traffic lights. Somebody actually told me that traffic today has been something else, especially around that Ipoba Hill axis. For those who beat traffic, possible offenders, what are the possible punishments for them?
Well, the same thing we usually do to them. We arrest such people and issue them with ticket, then subject them to public enlightenment before allowing them to go to the bank to defray their fines. At times, if we discover that they are perpetual offenders, what we do is to charge them to what we call mobile calls, because from time to time we usually organize mobile calls. Those ones we charge them and maybe insist that some of them be sent to prison without any option of fine.
Yeah, you said from time to time. How frequent is this? Are we going to be having mobile courts on a daily basis or weekly?
We may not be able to have it on daily basis because we work together with the judiciary. Okay. So it's the availability of the magistrates that we are able to have that, but at least we should be able to have 2 or 3 times every week.
2 or 3 times
every week.
Weekly.
Yes.
Well, we have also seen the situation, this issue of cars going one way. Have you anything in mind on how to curb that?
Yes, I'm already taking note of most of these places where they are taking one way. I'll meet all my stakeholders, especially the state, what do you call them, the state traffic agency. Yes. We'll discuss so that we'll be able to deploy our men at these particular places, especially at peak periods where these things are being done, so that we'll be able to curtail them, because at times they usually discover that there's hold up somewhere before they engage in all those things. So what we'll now do is to map out strategies where our men will be where they usually pass to join the other route, so that they won't have that chance of moving from the other lanes to face oncoming traffic. But those who are able to get, just as I told you earlier, we'll subject them to psychiatric evaluation, so I will be able to know whether they are really sound upstairs.
Okay, we are just getting to the ember months. In just some few days, we'll get to the ember months, and it is quite a known fact that during the ember months, there is the increase there's a rise in the cases of accidents. What do you have in mind to curb this trend in Edo State?
Well, presently, people usually see ember months as if they are months that are characterized with evil spirits and other things like that, which is not. The problem, most people haven't done what they usually say their resolutions for the year. At times they don't usually meet up before the end of August. So towards the end of the year, you see everybody running helter-skelter to meet up those resolutions which they have intended to achieve. And that's why you always see high vehicular traffic on the road. The same thing we usually do. We have mapped out strategies where we deploy more men and more logistics to checkmate the excesses of the road users. Also, we have started sensitization at motor parks, churches, mosques, and in fact we want to move to government establishment so that we'll be able to talk to people to understand that these months are not having any they are not embedded with evil spirits. It's just the behavioral this thing of the motoring public that usually leads to more crashes during this time. More so, we are reaching out to traditional rulers so that we'll be able to talk to community. In that case, we'll have what we call town hall meetings with the general public so that we'll be able to talk to them. At times, it's not even the driver that usually cause problem, but the passengers themselves. And some passengers don't even know their rights once they boarded a vehicle, because when you board a vehicle, it's a contract between you and the driver, and the main thing is for that person to take you safely from point A to B. But they will be there seeing the driver driving anyhow. They will not be able to caution such drivers, and we will rule out, and we'll also send out our emergency number, which is toll free 122 to the motoring public, so that you can call it. Once you call it, somebody will pick it 247, and once they pick it, they ask you where you are, what the complaint, and once you lodge a complaint, the nearest command to that place will be called, and we'll be able to track down such violators.
Okay, as regards commercial drivers now, about 90% of commercial drivers, I wouldn't know about other states, I'm talking about Edo State, 90% of commercial drivers in Edo State do not have a driver's license. What do you have in place to curb this tendency?
What we intend to do is to liaise with their employers. Their employers are always the owners of those vehicles at the parks. So when we liaise with them, we'll now tell them the implications of allowing somebody to drive a vehicle without being licensed. Because license is just that, your certificate, the only legal document that allows you to handle a vehicle. But most of them don't know. If this one misbehave one, then they will just call another person who they will not even care to ask whether he has a license or not. So by so doing, they will, when they have known the implications of those people they recruited handling their vehicles and not being licensed, they will be able to desist from doing that, and they will now look for real licensed drivers to handle their vehicles.
Now we see this situation where even licensed drivers commit some offenses, and it is man-made. Now, do you have anything like revocation of licenses?
Yes, we have some points. There are times when you are arrested, we issue a ticket. These things are digitalized, and we have a data bank. So once we impute the information of that driver, there's a way it places you. So when you become a perpetual violator, it will get to a time that it will be blinking. It will alert us to show that that person has exited his own points. So at that case, we would be able to get at you, arraign you in court, and at the end of the day, you will be stopped from driving, and meaning your license will be collected by the Federal Road Safety.
Now we've seen situations where some drivers or the public will come out to say that the road safety collects money. Do you have anything like fines, and how are these fines being collected if they do exist?
Yeah, we have fines. What we do is to issue a ticket, and once we issue a ticket, you go and do your RRR, that's remitter. Once you do it, you go to the bank, you pay your money, and it goes directly to federal government and then to treasury account.
Okay. And so the remittal, can the remittal be done? Like maybe I commit an offense and I say, no, I don't want to get down to your office. Oga, hold this small one. I think say it's 5,000. Take this one and I want to pay the remittal. Can it be done?
No, it's very wrong. It's very wrong. Whoever indulges in that, and an officer indulging in such a thing, is as good as saying he wants to leave the job, because when he's caught, he will definitely be sent packing.
Okay, now a situation where I want a driver's license. Can I meet a road safety official to procure a driver's license for me?
Well, they can only assist you. The arrangement for driver's license is tripartite.
Okay.
It has three. It has road safety. It has the VIO of the state, and it has the Board of Internal Revenue. Our own job is to produce that license and give it to the Board of Internal Revenue, who would now release it to the rightful owner. That's the process.
Okay.
You are being tested is the VIO that approves it, meaning the VIO would be the one to test you to now mean it, or to now authenticate whether you have been able to pass that test and whether you are worthwhile to get a license. And once that one is done, then you now go to the Board of Internal Revenue to pay your money. When you pay your money, they will now send your papers to us. We will now invite you for fiscal capture, your biometrics. So I haven't done that, then we'll now give you a temporary license. Within 2 or 3 months, the original will come from Abuja.
Now, there's a school of thought that say the F.R.S.C and the VIOs, that their duties are quite alike, are quite the same thing. Is this true? What is the difference actually, the VIOs and the F.R.S.C?
Even from the name, VIO, that's Vehicle Inspection Officer, and Federal Road Safety Corps. So while we are more of the safety aspect, these people are more of inspecting the vehicle to know whether that vehicle is roadworthy. So we have distinct jobs doing all together. And
so is it actually the right of the F.R.S.C to check for such things as fire extinguishers?
Yes, it's a right, because when you are doing something preventable, you still look for those things that need to someone to have while in his car, to be able to avert the disaster. That's the crash. Because at times, if you don't have fire extinguisher, if there's fire breakout on your vehicle, there's no how you'll be able to quench it. So it's a right, it's our duty to ensure that each vehicle has a fire extinguisher, and not just a fire extinguisher, a quality one that will be able to extinguish fire in case there is on your vehicle.
And so security outfits, are you ready to work with security outfits? Is it the job of the F.R.S.C to work with security outfits or to stand on their own?
No, we're already in synergy. Like when I came the following day, the new commissioner of police even visited me.
Okay.
And the other day again, we even have security meetings. So we collaborate together, we synergize, we work harmoniously. And because the security nowadays has to do with information dissemination. So, and most times our men are on the road, though we don't bear arms. But then, if you are talking of like the US now, in Pentagon, it's not the issue of how armaments they have, but the intelligence that they are being gathered that they will work on, and to be able to quench a lot of, bad
issues
things.
that come up. Yes. And so, if an individual now sees a kind of traffic situation, because there are so many people who do not know how to reach out to the F.R.S.C, can they call individual numbers, or there is a specific number that the F.R.S.C has that you can reach out to?
We have a specific number, and I told you it's toll free. Whether you have credit or you have airtime or whatever on your phone, once you call it, it will go. That's 122.
Well, the listening public, I hope you are listening to that. That number will be flashed on the screen at any time. So toll-free number to reach the F.R.S.C at any time, 122. It's been a lovely discussion with the new sector commander, Edo State Commander of the F.R.S.C. He's going to tell us some little plans that he has for vehicle users, the F.R.S.C. The plans that you have, sir, Commander, the plans that you have, what are Edo people to expect from your tenure?
Yeah, what they should expect is that I'm here to work with them. and I'm here to ensure that there's safety, there's tranquility on Nigeria, on the roads in Edo. We might be talking that the roads are not too good, they are not this. Yes, government is really doing something about it. But before those roads are being put in order, what you need to do is, one, when you're leaving your house or leaving your office, going somewhere, you plan your journeys very well. You don't leave late, you leave early enough, considering that there could be one problem or the other, so that you'll be able to leave, so that you don't have cause to start speeding off to where you are going, because speed at times it thrills but it kills. Then in terms of sensitization, I hope to go every nick and every nook and cranny of this state to ensure that we sensitize the motoring public, so that, like, if you're a passenger, in fact, when you check ground, there's nobody that does not use the road. If you are going to the airport, a vehicle will lead you to that place. If you are going to the sea, it's the same thing. A vehicle will lead you to that. When you are coming back again, it's the same vehicle that will use. So everybody uses the road. So people only need to be careful. We change our attitude. It's just attitudinal change we need. Once we do that, and we see that everybody has the right to use the road, just the person who is trekking on the road, the person who has a motorcycle, everybody has every right to use the road. So, and respect other people, and everything will be okay.
All right, on a final note, we've seen situations, I wouldn't mention the security outfits, we've seen situations where there are association with individuals. Like I said, I wouldn't mention the outfits. It is not really on the welcome side. For in a situation, or rather, where such an instance, there is this altercation between one of your officers and an individual, are there disciplinary measures to that effect? Do you orientate your officers from time to time?
Yes, like in road safety, it's a mandate that every Wednesday we have what we call in-house, and for 2 hours nationwide.
Okay.
So this is where we talk to our men, we tell them how to be civil and how to behave themselves with the motoring public. In most cases, those things cannot be ruled out, and where we always have those challenges are with other ranks. Most times the officers don't have issues. Like today, there was a military vehicle that took one way, so we had to challenge them. We stopped them and we have to talk to them. We said, if you are doing this, well, how do you expect others to do? So they saw reason with us, and they have to make a detour.
Okay.
So most times we don't have issues when it has to do with officer to officer.
Okay.
But other ranks, and all this is overzealousness, because all of us are working towards the same goals.
Okay.
And that we shouldn't have any cause to be having altercation or anything while on the road.
All right. Well, viewers out there, we could go on and on and on, but this program actually will be coming up every Thursday at the same time, the F.R.S.C half hour, and this is actually the maiden edition of this program. And we're so happy to have the new sector commander, Edo State Command, having to join us in the studio today. Once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
On behalf of Providence Television International, the management and staff, I'm saying welcome to Edo State. I remember what you said when I came to your office at in Lagos, while you were in Lagos.
Yes.
During your welcome,
they don't say welcome, they'll say this is Lagos. So meaning you are to find your food.
Exactly.
When you get to Lagos. But here, I was actually welcome, and I thank you for welcoming me.
Thank you so much, sir. We look forward to seeing you all the time. Well, viewers out there, you have heard it all, always and always. You have heard it all. I've always told you that on Providence Television International, that we are the game changer. On this note, I want to say thank you very much for watching. We'll continue this program next week, Thursday, with some other officers coming in to enlighten us, actually sensitize us on the activities of the F.R.S.C. So once again, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, viewers, for joining us. And like I would always tell you, this program is open for sponsorship. So for sponsors out there, find it. Do not have any issues as in reaching us. Go to your YouTube station and just type in Providence Television International. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful afternoon. Do stay tuned.